Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat podcast. Today is episode 140. We're continuing our series of looking through every Premier League club and rebuilding their side for the 23-24 season. Today's episode is all about West Ham, the Conference League winners. 14th place in the Premier League last season though. A very disappointing campaign on that front, obviously though remedied with a big European trophy at the end of the campaign.
Yeah, it was a bit weird, right? A very mixed season. I don't know if I've seen a team win a European trophy from 14th in their domestic league, but it shows that West Ham still are a good side. They just had a really poor campaign.
They did. I think, well, I don't know. I think is it easier though to go far in the Europa League because it is a knockout competition. It only relies on turning up on the day. And in the league, they don't have the best depth. They don't have great form. But it doesn't matter in Europe.
I think they're proven in Europe, but also at times in Premier League that they turn up for games. They just weren't very consistent. Look to the Arsenal game at the London Stadium, which they should have won, but they turned up for that game and got a big point against a title challenger. They turned up for a few games this year, and that's why they didn't get relegated. But
I don't think they're ever really in danger. They're a good side
to their European success.
But they are going through a big transitional period now because they're losing one very, very important piece of their weird jigsaw.
Last year.
Yeah, it's a giant one. There's those little ones on the outside. So there's going to be a big gap in their puzzle. We're going to talk about how to remedy that, how to solve that issue today, and then look at how you can invest that money elsewhere in the squad to improve the side. So we'll start, as we always do with these videos, with the contract situation. Now, 2023 only has one contract expiration for West Ham, and that is Manuel Lanzini. I don't think you can doubt that Lanzini has contributed a lot for West Ham over the last few years, but I would agree that it's now time for him to move on.
Yeah, he's been around. He's been at West Ham for quite a while. And they've got Fornals and other players who can play in his position.
Yeah.
And he is very replaceable, even if you do want to bring someone in.
Yeah.
I think he's good. He's just not.
He is a good player.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he is a good player. He's had some good seasons, but he is now 30 years old. He only made 10 appearances in the Premier League last season, only 2 starts and only 1 goal. I think he played a little bit more in the Europa League, but again, not a lot. I know he didn't. Sorry, Conference League. Yeah, 9 appearances, 9 starts, 2 goals. So he had a huge contribution in the Conference League in every single game.
Most of it, yeah.
But he played quite a lot, yeah. But he's not played a lot in the league. He was benched for the final, benched for the semis, but he did play a lot in the early stages.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still clearly a good player, and I think he can do a job for other Premier League sides, teams that aren't trying to win European titles and finish top 10. I think he can still do a job. He can still do a job in a lot of the other top 5 leagues, and he is only 30, so there's a lot of his career left. He could still get another 5 years of top flight football in, maybe even more, or he could go to Saudi, or he could go to the MLS, any of the above. But Lanzini, good player, but West Ham, he's not what they need right now. So I think they're right to let him leave.
Yeah, all right.
Up next, 2024, the biggest contract of them all, Declan Rice. It's weird how similar this is to the Tottenham episode which went out yesterday. How that video was all focused around Harry Kane leaving. Today it's all about Declan Rice. Why is Rice so good? What makes Rice so good?
He's I find what I like, what sums it up brilliantly is our Graham Souness or Roy Keane was there having this debate, and one of those two said that Rice wasn't world class, or he wasn't quality, because to be a good midfielder you have to have 3 things, and it was a defensive thing, an attacking thing, and then kind of an all round thing. Yeah. And I think whoever it was said that he only had 1 of them, to which he then pointed out where he thinks he's got all 3. And I think he's right. He got goal contributions this year. He's he's brilliant defensively, but he also does the job as a midfielder.
Incredibly well-rounded, a great screen for the back four, but also someone that can play higher up the pitch if you need him to. He's a great passer of the play, a great dictator of the tempo, and can carry that ball forward. I think that's a really underrated quality of Declan Rice, is that ability to pick up the ball in deep areas and just drive it forwards for teams. Really useful for West Ham this season. So, and obviously the last few years, his contribution is going to be missed quite a lot, because he is such a key player. There's a reason he's a mainstay in Gareth Southgate's England side. There's a reason everyone in the Premier League is pushing to sign him this year. There's a reason everyone's been pushing to sign him over the last few years. But for West Ham, I think now is the right time.
Oh, 100%. They are making the right decision to sell him now rather than losing for a free next year.
I think he's achieved all he can with the club. He's won a Conference League.
Yeah.
I don't think they could have asked much more of their young lad. Of course, yeah, someone who's been with them since he was 16, I want to say, something like that. But yeah, he came through. He's done really well. I think now is the right time to move him on. He's only got a year left in his deal, and you're still getting £105 million.
Crazy.
I mean, that is just superb.
As good as he is, that is a lot of money.
I think it's justified.
Oh, 100%. But I think for West Ham,
I think it's 100% justified. I do think it's justified.
It's a massive loss losing him, but the money you're going to get off him, that's pretty decent.
But that's the thing which people seem to forget, is they look at the £105 million price tag and they say, well, he's not worth that. And I think when they say he's not worth that, they mean to the buying club. But to the selling club, he's worth that and double that.
Oh, yeah, so to West Ham, he's probably worth 200 million.
Because for £105 million, for all the money in the world, West Ham can't sign a Rice replacement. Because there is no single person who West Ham can get who does the same thing Declan Rice does. They have to, but they can sell multiple players, of course. There is going to be a way to replace him, but you can't get a direct replacement who does exactly what Declan Rice does. So he is so crucial to West Ham. They have got options though, and we're going to discuss today. But in terms of his contract, sell him now.
Yeah.
A couple of other players. There's loads of contracts expiring in 2024. We'll run through them now. First up, for the next of which is Thomas Souček. A really poor season this season for Thomas Souček. He was revered by West Ham fans and David Moyes in particular, of course the manager, in the season before in their Europa League run. He's a very tall midfielder, good midfielder, loves to get on the end of crosses, loves to crash the box, sometimes gets involved with the goals. This season though, he's looked erratic, he's looked error prone, he's looked off the pace. Do you think there's a chance he gets back to his best next season, or is it better to cut your losses now?
I'm caught in two minds because he's saying a really poor last season, but I think losing Rice this year, and if they were to lose Souček next year, they've lost that brilliant pivot that played so well last season, 2 seasons ago. That's pretty big for me.
My question is, how much of that is a pivot, and how much of that is Rice is so good it doesn't matter who you play alongside him?
Yeah, but if you even look at Souček's goal contributions to last year, from corners, he's an absolute weapon. Yeah,
21-22, he had a really impressive campaign. A lot of people put him in their FPL teams.
Yeah. I feel maybe give him a couple months, give him the first couple months of the season, and then you either re-sign if he's doing well, or if he's not, I think you've got to let him run out.
Yeah, I think with the Declan Rice money, you're going to be looking at a midfield overhaul this summer. I would consider letting Souček leave, but he is a player who David Moyes likes. We've seen always in David Moyes' teams that he has that one player, a really tall central midfielder who can score goals, who can get stuck in, who's imperious. That is what Souček does. We saw it at Everton and then Manchester United with Marouane Fellaini. We're seeing it now with Thomas Souček. He does really love that profile midfielder, so he would have to replace him. I think there's options out there, but yeah, for me, Souček, you can probably let him go this summer.
Yeah.
Definitely. Up next, Pablo Fornals. I think this is a very different answer. I really like Pablo Fornals. I think he's a really exciting young player. Well, not really young anymore, but he was when they signed him. For me, he's not done enough yet for West Ham.
No, he hasn't.
But he's done enough to earn himself a new deal.
Definitely. And with Lanzini leaving, he can become your mainstay in that kind of attacking midfielder role or out wide.
I was going to say, I would probably play him on the left because he is he's right footed, I believe. Might be wrong there, but I think he plays off he does play off the left, he's right footed.
I think
to be fair, he's only 27 still, so
exactly.
There's a good few years left in him.
I think he's a definite re-sign.
I think he's a really talented player.
Yeah.
Really, really talented player. Great creator, good goal scorer, loves to get involved. I think he's a really good technical player as well. Something which West Ham don't really have many of.
Yeah.
Which doesn't always fit, because if you look at Gianluca Scamacca this season, that hasn't really worked. But Fornals, because he's out wide, he can use technical ability without being too affected by the way Moyes likes to play football. So I think he provides adequate cover to Benrahma, or a really nice competition for that left wing role. He can also cover in attacking midfielder, though I'd like to see Lucas Paqueta really kick on next season. But for me, Fornals is more than adequate to play on that left wing, a really talented player.
Yeah.
But up next, Ben Johnson.
Similar.
I'm a big fan of Ben Johnson,
Again, definite re-sign. He's had a brilliant untaken on Euros. He had a good season last year in a West Ham side that struggled. He's strong defensively, but he can do a job going forward. He's in that 3 back, 5 back that they play. he works really well.
Yeah, I swear I remember him signing a new contract, but according to the list I found, his contract expires in 2024. If he hasn't signed one already, go out and sign him a new one as quickly as possible. He's only 23 years old, a really great right back, young right back. Probably won't play much for the England men teams, but that's not a poor reflection on him, more a great reflection on how good the right back is in the England team. So, yeah, really good player. I would like to see him start a lot more for West Ham next season. He can also cover left back as well, which I think helps him because that means that versatility is incredibly useful. The fact he can cover both full backs in case of emergency. He's a really talented footballer. Yeah. Really, really talented footballer. So, yeah, for me, it's an obvious keep. Vladimir Coufal.
I think you can afford to let him run down his contract.
He's another one who had a really weird season last year. Like, he was stunning the campaign before, but the season that's just gone, I don't know really, he just didn't seem to be at his best. Again, similar to Suchek, he looked a little erratic, a little error prone. He still put up some decent numbers, but overall his performance level definitely declined. I don't know what he's doing. He is 30 now, he has hit that 30 threshold. But yeah, he's gone down from 4 assists in the campaign before to just 1 in the season we've just seen. I don't know. He's just not contributing as much as he used to be. But he can still do a job, so I'd keep him around for a year. Maybe if you see him return to what he was doing the season before last, then you re-sign that. But he is 31. He will be 31 by the time you're renewing that contract. I think it just makes sense.
Yeah, and especially you got Ben Johnson, so you don't need you don't need 2 starting wing backs. I think you can bring in someone to cover Ben Johnson.
Then re-sign a new right back next year. Yeah, but for me, let's see if I run next contract. If he does really well, you keep him around. Mm-hmm. Also expiring in 2024 is Mikel Antonio. Ooh. I don't really know what to do with Antonio because I think he is a good footballer, but is he Premier League quality or is he West Ham quality?
I think he's another one you could probably afford to let him go.
It's a bit of a weird situation because I don't think. I mean, it's quite obviously Scamacca's not worked in his first season. And I think West Ham should seriously think about selling him, moving him on, because he doesn't suit the type of football that not Declan Rice, that David Moyes wants to play.
No, you turn around.
Declan Rice is manager now, but Antonio, he is the mould of striker which Moyes really likes. Someone who will fight for scraps, someone who will run out into wide areas and get the ball and get defenders with a scruff of the neck and throw him around. Antonio is exactly what David Moyes likes in a striker. I think he's a fine backup. Yeah. I think he's an absolutely fine backup. So for me, I would keep him and sign a new striker.
Yeah.
And let Scamacca leave. But we'll get to Scamacca later in squad. Keep or sell. Yeah. Up next, Connor Coventry.
I think you let him go.
Really?
I don't really think he's that good.
Well, we've let Rice and Souček go, so there's no midfielders left anymore.
Yeah, but I still don't think Connor.
I think Coventry is a decent player. I think he's a fine option as a 4th choice central midfielder.
I suppose.
I'm saying you bring in some more midfielders, but I would not have him starting.
No, I've never really rated him.
He's only played 1 time this season. He was out on loan for most of the campaign. Second half of the campaign, he played 16 times for Rotherham. I don't know. He's only 23, but I don't know. Good point. I think I was getting mixed up when I saved keeping between him and Flynn Downs. Very different player. Anyway, Connor Coventry. Actually looking at him, maybe you let him leave. Harsh, but fair. Yeah. Up next, we have Łukasz Fabianski.
I think again you can afford to let him go.
My problem is not his quality, but his age. He's already 36. I want to say now. So he's definitely getting on.
West Ham find themselves in a brilliant position where they have 2 goalkeepers. Both. Wow, yes, let him go. Yeah. Who is 39 by the time his contract ends, and they're in a wonderful position where they already have another goalkeeper that is capable of starting. Areola can take the starting role. You bring in a backup goalkeeper. Everything's fine and dandy.
Yeah, Fabianski, he's a decent goalkeeper. He's had a really nice career. I love saying Poland goal whenever we watch him play. I don't think we'll be seeing much from next season. No. You'd imagine they'll start to transition to having Alphonse Areola as the number 1. So I think it is. I think it's time on Fabianski's career.
Give him one last hurrah.
He's done well. He's done well. He's been a wonderful servant for West Ham since joining in 2018. 176 appearances in a little over 5 years. Yeah, fantastic servant for the club. Yeah. Still keeping 8 clean sheets last season is a remarkable achievement given how poor they were at times. So for me, a good campaign for Fabianski last year. I imagine that'll be his last as the main starting goalkeeper at West Ham, but
Yeah.
still a decent campaign. Still a great guy, great player. Yeah. For me, though, let him leave next season.
Alright, yeah.
And then 2 more names on this list. Angelo Ogbonna, who I don't think many West Ham fans will be too upset to see the back of.
Probably sell him this summer.
He was doing well. He didn't really play. Oh, to be fair, actually, I think he's played a lot more than I thought. 16 appearances, 13 starts. Maybe you look at keep. He is 35 though.
I think you sell him this
He
summer.
will be 36 by the end of the season. I think if West Ham are looking to progress as a club, you're probably looking at Ogbonna leaving. I don't know. Maybe West Ham fans have a much stronger affiliation with him, but from an outside perspective, I don't think he's what West Ham need.
No.
But he's clearly, he's done well over the season. He's played a lot more this year than I actually thought he had. And I imagine he played a lot of Conference League. Yeah, 8 games in that. I imagine they're all the group games and the early knockout stages, but still regular in that side. And that team went on to win something, so can't have been too bad. But yeah, not what I believe West Ham need for the future.
No.
And then finally on this list, it's a third choice goalkeeper. It is Joseph Anang. I think it's a third choice goalkeeper. Might be wrong there. He's not on this list. Hang on, let me find him. I don't know where he's gone.
Where are you, Joseph?
He might not even be on Footmoth. Here he is. Yes, he is a third choice goalkeeper, but he's been sent down to West Ham Academy on here.
Yeah, let him go.
He's not played for them.
I don't know who he is.
He is only... Oh, he's 23 now.
Yeah,
he's not going to be playing for West Ham anytime.
Really comment.
So let him go.
Yeah.
Squad keep or sell. Let's look for the actual team. Let's discuss who should stay, who should go, who should be sent out on loan, and all that's fun stuff.
Never put there again.
We'll start with the goalkeepers then. We've already spoken about Fabianski, but Alphonse Areola, is he good enough to be West Ham's starting goalkeeper?
100%. I think he's a brilliant keeper.
He's already 30, by the way. I remember him just come through at PSG. But now...
old.
I thought he's not old for a goalkeeper. But he is ageing.
He was brilliant.
Only 5 appearances last season.
Yeah, but he's got
in the league.
backup keeper, isn't he?
2 of which were starts. He got subbed on in 3 games. How the Christ does that happen? How many times is Fabianski getting injured?
Don't know. But he was brilliant in the Conference League.
Yeah, how many minutes did he play?
Strong Conference League campaign.
Yeah, 13 matches. That's all of them, I think. Can't play more than 13 matches in the Conference League. 6 clean sheets. Yeah.
Not too shabby.
30 saves in 13 matches.
Yeah.
Not horrendous. Good goalkeeper. I think he will likely start for West Ham next season.
Probably.
He's maybe not the long-term solution.
No.
But
you do need to bring in a backup keeper.
Well, you could think about that next summer. Fabianski this summer. Maybe find a third choice that's British and fulfills that quota. Not that West Ham have a deprived of English people, but yeah. Jed Steer, sure, go for him. Yeah. But yeah, defenders then. Aaron Cresswell is the first on our list.
He's a skipper and he's a leader.
I am. I mean, you're right. He is both those things. But I am torn. I certainly would not have him starting next season.
No, I think you probably keep him around as a bit more of a figure. You're losing your actual captain, Declan Rice. You need someone to step up as a leader. And you need to look at Aaron Cresswell. Yeah,
all right, fair enough. I think he's done well. I don't know. I thought he's older than 33, to be fair. Yeah, maybe he can start next season.
I guess his contract runs out in 2025 or 2026.
I certainly wouldn't be looking at buying left back because you've got Cresswell in there, you've got Emerson, you've got Cornet, and while we're at it, both of those are stays. Emerson, he's done well, hasn't he, since joining Chelsea? Since joining from Chelsea, sorry.
Yeah, so good.
He's a good pickup, and then Cornet. I mean, he's not played a load of football, but he could definitely do a job. Yeah, Emerson, 22 Premier League appearances, 16 starts, and Maxwell Cornet, while he is considered a forward, I would consider him a left back. I don't really know where he's played for West.
Bench warmer.
I've not really seen him play for West.
Has he scored?
I don't know.
Did it not say?
I don't know. He's not really been playing at left wing though. At left back, sorry. He's more playing at left wing. So maybe you don't consider Cornet a left back anymore. I swear he mainly played though for Burnley. So he could definitely do a job there. We've seen that, but yeah, I don't know. Just not being used at left back anymore at West Ham. No. So yeah, presumably he's not a left back anymore. No. However, I would probably still keep him around. He's not really done a lot for West Ham.
Do something.
He's 2 starts, no contributions, 14 appearances, and although, don't know really what you do with Cornet. Probably keep him around for now. Kurt Zuma.
Cape, he's a solid centre half.
Provided he doesn't boot any felines.
Yeah.
Does well. I think he's certainly matured since Chelsea.
Yeah, wow.
Not for the cat incident, alright. But everything else, he seems a lot more mature. At Chelsea, he was a little erratic, a little error prone, but he's really good on the ball. Obviously, that makes sense. He's a product of the Cobham Academy. And yeah, really good all-round player. Well, not product of the Academy, but he went through the youth stages. But yeah, I think for me, he's a really good profile.
Definitely.
Strong, physical, good on the ball, only 28, got a good few years left of his prime. So yeah, definite keep. 25 appearances last season for the Hammers. Considering he was on the sidelines for a bit of last year, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's I think
solid.
Was it this year he booted? No, he booted the season before, right?
Last year.
Then he missed some games for that, but yeah, I still think he's a good player.
Yeah, definitely.
Tilo Kehrer.
I think he had
a tough start.
Yeah,
he had a really tough start.
Didn't he give away a penalty in his debut?
I was going to say, I think he scored no goal and gave away a pen or something like that on his debut.
Yeah.
They lost 2-0 to Brighton. I think he gave away a pen, but I don't really know what's the easiest way of seeing that.
Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah, there's a yellow card and then a penalty 2 minutes later. Yeah, gave away a pen on his debut. Since then, though, he's looked a little more solid. I think... Yeah, for me, clearly a really good rotation option.
He took time to adapt.
Can cover at centre half, can cover at right back. Still a little bit of error proneness, and I think that's why he's no longer at PSG. But
yeah, probably
can cover both positions. He's fine. He's harmless.
Yeah, he's alright.
He's not starting for any games, but he can definitely do a job as a backup.
Yeah.
Naif Aguard.
I mean, obviously he got injured, didn't he, midway through the season, which really hurt his first training campaign.
Yeah, and I think this was a shame because I was really excited to see him. And when he did play, he was really good.
Yeah, he did look solid.
He was really good. And I think he'll continue to be really good because he is a great centre-half. He did really well before when he was at Rennes. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him start for West Ham for years to come. Only 27. Aguard and Zuma could form a really good partnership there. I think he's a really good player. Again, fits the profile that David Moyes likes from a defender. Yeah. Tall, physical, good on the ball.
Yeah.
Very good. Ticks all the boxes. Ben Johnson was spoken about, and on to the midfielders then. There's not many because most of them are leaving on a free.
Yeah.
Going to expire next season, or they don't exist because they only have 3 midfielders and then a couple of attacking midfielders. But yeah, so we've already spoken about Souček, but Nikola Vlasic.
He was a bit weird.
What a shit show, really, for the transfer.
Didn't play, did he?
He was out on loan at Torino where he made 34 appearances, scored 5 assists, 6.
I would sell him.
Would you?
Yes.
Would you not see a way back to the first team?
No.
He had a really good campaign, though, last season.
At Torino?
Yeah.
I'd still sell him.
Okay.
I don't think he's very good.
I think he's a good player. He just struggled to adapt to the Premier League.
Yeah.
But if you can recoup some of the money you spent on him, I guess it's not been a horrendous deal.
No.
But you've lost money. He didn't really play well when he did play, and he didn't play much at all. Only 19 appearances last season. That was his debut campaign. He didn't really play other than that, so hard to judge. But he did well to Torino this year. Maybe they'll look at taking him on a permanent. But if they're looking to recoup anywhere near, I think they spent 25 million on him.
Yeah.
They're going to be, lucky to even get 15. So yeah. Declan Rice has spoken about already. Lucas Paqueta. Another really good signing that just didn't really work out. He really struggled to adapt, but he has played well at times. So. There's clearly a really quality player there. You need to integrate him more and more and decide get him more comfortable with the league. But still, 28 appearances, 4 goals, 3 assists. It's not the worst debut Premier League campaign I've ever seen. In a team that played really poorly as well, that isn't bad. And he was particularly impressive in the Conference League final, of course, picking up an assist in that game. So yeah, for obviously the winning goal, that's quite decent. Yeah. But yeah, I think he's a really good player, and I think he's a type of player you build a team around.
100%.
He's a great creator, good goal scorer, and just a really exciting player to watch whenever he's on the pitch. Again, though, it feels like West Ham's recruitment isn't. They don't think. They just buy good players. Because their recruitment is really decent. Like, Scamacca's a great player. Paqueta's a great player. But they play for David Moyes. Like, Moyes' system at West Ham has not been intricate football. It's not been beautiful football. It's been smack it along and let's hope Antonio scores. So we've got nothing else.
Down to Rice plays out of Bowen scores.
Yeah, and the season before, let's hope Jared Bowen scores. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. But hopefully... Because he's got all these technical players, he actually starts playing some technical football. Yeah. Maybe then there's a route for Scamacca back, but route back for Scamacca. Up next, Flynn Downs. I had my reservations about Downs when he joined at the start of the season. I think a lot of people did, but he had a really good campaign.
Yeah, definite keep. He can build on last year.
21 appearances, 7 starts. He's more than adequate backup. I think the midfield is an area you need to invest in heavily.
100%.
But overall, good player, can do a job as a backup. I don't think there's many West Ham fans desperate for him to leave. There's already enough going on in the midfield, enough rotation there this summer, enough transition period that they can probably do with just keeping one of their midfielders. But yeah. Into the forward area then, we've spoken about Antonio, but we haven't spoken about Danny Ings. Danny Ings is a really interesting footballer. I think he's good. I think he's really good.
I forgot
but
there.
Yeah, he's not really done a lot since joining West Ham. 8 goals this season. I think the vast majority of them were for Aston Villa. Only 3 goals in 22 appearances since joining in January. But he is a good striker.
I was like, do you start next year?
No. But he's a perfect bench striker. You can come on, get a goal. Yeah, 2 bench strikers. What's the problem with that?
Yeah, true.
You can send them both on. That's really terrifying. But yeah, the fact he played 35 times last season, only 15 of which were starts, says a lot about his campaign. I know a lot of that was at Aston Villa, of course, where he wasn't starting. Watkins was starting, and then Ings was getting subbed in. So, well, not to Gerrard. He tried to play Ings in Coutinho and all that, but
up front.
Yeah, it didn't really work. But yeah, I think for me, Ings, a good footballer. There's no real need to let him leave. He only joined 6 months ago. Bit harsher than try and turn him out the door immediately. But yeah. Ben Rama. Saeed Ben Rama.
Baller. Absolutely.
He is a really good footballer, but I don't know. I think he's magical. He's just not really done enough for West Ham. Like 6 goals, 3 assists. It's fine numbers. It's not going to earn you a move to Manchester City, but it's adequate. I think for me, a lot of players' seasons have been tainted by how poor West Ham have been. This is before he put up 14 contributions in 32 games. I look at that as a really good, successful campaign.
Yeah.
I think if West Ham are up there, playing good football, there's a good feel factor around the club, a lot of confidence in the side, I think they do well next season. And they've got a lot of players that seem to thrive when the team's doing well, but go missing when the team's doing badly. So that is a concern, because they could be shy again. But you just got to hope the team do well. Yeah, and I think they should. There's no reason they should have as many struggles than the trials and tribulations that they went through last season. I think they will be much better this season, in a much better position, but you can never be sure, and that's always going to be a bit of a fear.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then up next, it's Jarrod Bowen, the penultimate player on this list that we haven't spoken about. He's a really talented footballer.
He is very good.
I think he was overhyped, though. I think his 21-22 campaign was very much overhyped. A lot of people were, saying, he needs to move to one of the big sides, and he's one of the best players in the league. He had a good campaign. He scored a lot of goals. I think he got, we could have a look, he scored 12 and got 10 assists, which is very impressive numbers. This season he's tapered off a little, 6 goals, 5 assists.
Still decent.
But yeah, in a side that were really bad, he was a shining light. And I think next season, if you bring on a couple more creative players in that midfield, because the midfield is very stagnant. I mean, Rice is a good creator. Souček runs about a bit. So if you can bring in someone that's a really good creator, then that's a positive. Then that can have a real positive effect on Jarrod Bowen. And if Paqueta's playing well and more often and better, then he can provide him with a lot of chances. Gianluca Scamacca.
So
I really like Scamacca, but he's not the right fit. And I think West Ham just need to realise that and move him on. He's only played 16 times this season. He still scored 3 goals. I think that shows his quality.
Yeah.
But Scamacca, as Antonio said himself, Scamacca's not a Moyes type striker.
No.
He's not someone who can feed off the scraps. He's not someone who will be running into the channel to try and chase after every ball. He's a very elegant footballer. Yeah. If you get what I mean by that. He's a very
Serie A striker.
He's not a Serie A striker. No, I would say he's a Pep Guardiola type striker. He's someone who loves the ball to his feet. Someone that loves to, drop in and pass it around. I think he'd be a good fit at Tottenham, to be fair, if they were continuing to play with that Harry Kane type striker. But yeah, I think for me, Scamacca is a really good forward, and we saw that at Sassuolo. That link up with Raspadori in the Serie A last season was really impressive. 16 goals in 36 games speaks for itself. But he hasn't done enough this season. No. And for £40 million, you can't, I mean, they've not played him, but he's not done anything. So, I don't know. What'd you do? What'd you do?
You sell him.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, that summarises that then. I'm sure there'll be West Ham fans that definitely disagree with us. But yeah, if you do disagree, then please do leave some constructive feedback. We've had some great comments, particularly on the Brentford episode. There's some really good ones on there, and on the Nottingham Forest episode. Got a load of nice comments on there as well. So yeah, if you do have any thoughts on what we've said so far, then please do leave them in the comments. But moving on then to some improvements. Now, these are going to be the ones that people disagree with even more, probably. But got a couple of suggestions for how to rebuild and reconfigure this West Ham side. Firstly, I want to start with the sort of budget I'll be looking at. I've said West Ham could be looking at 180 million as a budget. Obviously, Rice incoming. I know they may not put all of that towards the transfer kitty, but say they did, 105 million. I think then a couple other sales, Scamacca, something like that, someone like that, Souček as well, maybe. I think you can quickly get up to that. Plus, obviously, West Ham are not a club in a dire financial situation. They have got quite a bit of backing. So that's the budget I've given here, and I think I've picked out some good options. So I think that, so areas you want to target then, some defensive options. They've only really got Keira, Zuma and Aguard as the centre-halves. That's it. So definitely need another centre-half in there, because I think they will move up on, and even so, that would only leave them with 4 options. That's not ideal. Then I think some midfield, obviously, you need to replace Declan Rice, and I've got a load of different options there. And then what you do with the rest of that money to make sure you've got a nice midfield, nice balanced midfield, including attacking midfield. I think they could do with someone to give some competition to Paqueta. Yeah. And then on the wing, I think a rotation option with Jared Byrne, because there just isn't one in this squad. No. And then a forward, someone to replace Scamacca if you were to let him leave. No. So we'll start at the back then. I think as a defensive option, someone who has been linked to the Premier League for years, Jonathan Tah. He's just a really solid player.
He is very solid and experienced as well. He brings a wealth of experience.
Yeah, he's played for Bayer Leverkusen for a while now. Of course, I just want to get up his exact statistics, but. Yeah, he's done really well. He's exactly same as Zuma and Aguard. That same profile, strong, physical, good on the ball. For me, it just makes a whole lot of sense. He's been at Bayer Leverkusen for 8 years.
Wow.
Loyal, but 27 years old. He's still got something to offer.
He's only 27. Wow.
He's only 27. Yeah. So could definitely offer that. And I don't think he's got long left on his contract either. I can't remember when it expires, but we'll just have a look. I'm fairly sure, though, his contract expires soonish. 2025. So only 2 years left of the deal. Bayer Leverkusen may be looking at that as going, well, if we can pocket £20 million this summer, we take that.
Yeah.
So I think around that £18-20 million mark, Tah's a good option. Up next, Edson Alvarez, looking into the midfield now.
Wow.
This would be a ridiculously good pickup. Very hard to pull off, and that's why I've got a couple of other options as well. But if you can, around that 40-50 million, I know Ajax may ask for more because it's Ajax and that's what they do, but I think you can do it. I think you can pull this off if you really want to. Maybe you sacrifice bringing in loads of midfielders just to get this, one through the door. Maybe it costs a little more than you expect, but for me, he is really quality.
I mean, that would then really utilising that pull of the Europa League.
Yeah, it helps. Obviously, he can cover at centre half as well.
Yes.
So to that effect, maybe then you don't need someone like a Jonathan Tah because Alvarez can cover in there. I just think he's a really talented footballer. He does a very similar thing to Declan Rice. He can carry that ball forward. He's very tenacious, really good at covering that back line. I think for me, he makes a lot of sense. He can shield that back line, but I think he's a good player.
Definitely.
Then there's some other options in midfield. The first of which is Denis Zakaria. I think around that £30 million mark, it is a bit of a gamble, and I have got some other options as well. Well, actually 20 million, I would say, probably not 30 million, but he is Premier League proven. Juventus need money, so you can get a bargain there.
And he proves he's capable of being at the top.
Yeah,
plays in the Champions League.
I think he's a really good footballer. I think if you give him that shot, you give him actual regular game time, he might, actually do something.
For him, he'd be happy to come back to the Premier League.
If he had to play for anyone. Yeah. Like he's been to Juve where he played about 6 minutes, then he got loaned to Chelsea where he played 8, and now he just wants to play some football, I'm sure. Yeah. Like he must have been buzzing when he got that free transfer to Juve.
Yeah.
Barely played there, got loaned to Chelsea, would have been buzzing. Barely played there. Harsh on him. Hopefully he can get some action minutes wherever he ends up.
Definitely.
Next season. Some other thoughts then. What do you think of James Ward-Prowse?
I'm one of those. I am very much a believer in the fact that James Ward-Prowse is very much overhyped because he can take a free kick or two.
I do agree that he is a little overhyped, but I still think he's a really good footballer.
He is. My worry would be the price tag.
They've just been relegated.
They have.
They want 40 million right now. I think if you're getting towards the start of the season, you could definitely get him for 30. Maybe even 25.
That would be very lucky. That would be very lucky they got him for 25, yeah.
Well, because how are Southampton... If Southampton gets to deadline day, what are they going to do? They've got to sell him, really.
Does he want to leave?
Surely,
he
Ward-Prowse.
15 free kicks in the Championship.
He could do that in the Prem, though, for West Ham and play in Europa League.
Yeah, he could. He's the type of player that can change the game.
Yeah. For me, he would be a good option. But also, he is a captain.
Yeah.
He is a captain. He's a leader. He's someone who can replace the figure that Declan Rice was in the dressing room. So for me, he makes a lot of sense. I just don't know. I don't know. It really depends on how you want to compose your midfield. Because in the 4-2-3-1, I don't really know where he fits. He could play as one of the two. I just don't really know how I feel about him in a double pivot. You could realise it's a midfield three. So you've got one base pivot who could be Edson, Alvarez, and then two more attacking players, Paqueta and Ward-Prowse. Something like that could really work nicely. But yeah, so I think he could be a great option around that 30 mil mark. But if it's any higher, 40 million, I think there's better options out there. And one of which is equal Palacios. I think his versatility is exactly what West Ham need. He can play as a defensive midfielder, he can play a little higher as a central midfielder, which is where he's best, or he could even play as a attack midfielder, if you really need him to. So I think that could be really useful. He's also a very good player. That is quite useful. He's a very good player. Great passing range, good tackle numbers, good interception numbers. I think he is just very similar to what Rice does as well. That was profiles very similarly. Declan Rice loves carrying that ball forward, loves to get involved with the tackle, good range of passing as well. I think he can work as a DM. He's a little short for a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
And I think that is a theme with all the players I've suggested, like Zakaria's not tall, neither is Edson Alvarez.
No, definitely not.
Neither is General Prowse. So height may be lacking.
That's alright.
But the next option is someone who could have a bit more height. Scott McTominay.
He's very tall.
They're not by the way, I'm not. These are just suggestions. For me, my idea would be to bring in Alvarez, to bring in Palacios, and then either Zakaria or Prowse. But I'm just sort of throwing out some other options. What would you think of a Scott McTominay?
I think it would be brilliant.
For me, he's that Marouane Fellaini, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's that Thomas Souček. He's tall, he can get in the box, he can score goals. We've seen that. He scored a brace against Spain. We could do that. Imagine what we could do against Sheffield United away. But yeah, for me, he's a good player. He is the sort of guy that Moyes will like. I think did Moyes bring him into the first team setup? I think he might have.
Yeah.
It was either him or...
And they're both Scottish.
The guy after him. Mourinho. But yeah, they are both Scottish. That does help. Sure. But yeah, I think for me that would make a lot of sense. Another option then, if you want to bring in another attacking midfielder, if you don't bring in Palacios who could cover there, or a left winger so you can play Fornals in attack midfield.
Yeah.
Lovro Majer. Croatian. Plays for Rennes at the moment. Put up some really good numbers last season. But unproven in this league. A lot of the suggestions I've said are, but I think he's a good player. I think he's a really good player. It's just about how much you trust Paqueta. Because if you think Paqueta can start every game and do well, you don't really need a attack midfielder. But as an option, Lovro Majer could definitely be that, and you'd still fit within that budget I gave myself. So it's if you're choosing between a Majer or a Ward-Prowse, definitely go for that Ward-Prowse for me. But as a bit more of a budget option, you can probably get around 15-20 million.
Yeah.
I think Majer makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Out wide then, cover for Bowen. I didn't want to spend any money here. No. So I went to the free transfer bin, had a little look around. Reece Nelson. I've suggested him a lot throughout the summer. We've been speaking about a lot of different clubs. There were rumours he will sign a new contract.
I thought he had.
I don't know if he has. Has he signed one?
I thought he had.
Either way, try and if he hasn't yet, go and get one.
You could loan him.
You could loan him. If not, look back in that bargain bin. I don't know. I haven't seen anything announced, but I did hear rumours he will re-sign, or at least Arsenal were pushing to re-sign. I mean, it would make sense. He's a good footballer. Yeah. Very good footballer. So I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal do re-sign. If he doesn't, though, pounce on that immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah. If not, you're going to have to go searching West Ham. Unlucky.
There's wingers out there.
There are. I did look at Habib Diarra at Strasbourg, because they have two, Diarra and Diallo, both with Habib, the first name, I think. But he's a centre mid who can cover right wing as well. So I did look at him, and he'd only be around £10 million. What do you mean? Who are you going to suggest?
Same with Diaby, but he's very much left wing.
Well, Diaby can play both wings. I know Diaby is right-footed, right? So he cuts inside. Yeah. But if you want to play him as more of an out-and-out winger, which you can, that works. I think it's Bowen right-footed.
No, he's left.
Is he?
Yeah.
He scored a very good goal with right foot then against Chelsea, considering that was his week.
He's left-footed.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Just gonna have a look. Yeah, left-footed. Fair enough.
Do it would be so West Ham to go get Birch and Traore.
Would it?
Yes.
Nah, that's too sensible.
I think I would have said that, but now everyone wants to keep it.
It'd be so West Ham to go sign some random right winger who happens to be from either Croatia or the Czech Republic or Czechia. I don't think they'll get Quincy Promes. Don't think Customs are going to let him in. But
like David Neres. He constantly looks out of it though, so I wouldn't trust him.
Where is Neres? He's at Benfica now.
Oh yeah, he is.
He's doing well there, so yeah. I don't know, mate. If you can price him away, he's a good player. They do tend to want Brazilians of pounds, Benfica. But yeah, definitely.
He's like 100 million on his head.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Maybe you could look at Southampton again, though. Just thinking of relegated clubs. At Samuel Edozie.
Yeah.
Unproven, but as a backup to Bowen.
Yeah.
Not the worst idea. Or at Leicester, if you want. Mark Albrighton. But definitely.
Who else?
Maybe Leeds.
Army Barnes.
They're a bit more wrong wing. Also wrong wing. I think Sarah's right footed and
Stuart Dallas.
Right back. Maybe right winger about 15 years ago. No.
Yeah, probably.
5-10 years ago, but yeah. Forward then. The big cool. And he's actually a player that I suggested yesterday. Dusan Vlahovic.
Oh my god.
This is the marquee signing. This is the signing which takes West Ham from being a club that might be able to compete with other teams to being one that should be in the Europa League spot.
Yeah.
Vlahovic is a great player, and you know the best thing about him? He's exactly what David Moyes wants. He is a scrappy striker. He is a player who is very physical. He loves to get in the air. He's very tall. He is very physical. Loves feeding off scraps. He just makes a lot of sense. Just makes a lot of sense. Good at the ball at his feet as well. Excellent finisher. I think that often goes unrecognised because he is such a physical player that people look at that, don't really look at his great finishing numbers. He joined Juventus in January 2022. He's not had a great time since then, but you cannot forget his seasons before that. 21 goals in 2021. Then the first half of the campaign he was scoring for Fiorentina, ended that season with 24. Yeah. So, he was prolific for Fiorentina. Even at Juve, he's scored 23 goals in 63 games. He's got 10 goals this season just by having a really tough season. Yeah. So, for me, he makes a lot of sense. You are going to face competition, because Chelsea are interested, as are Tottenham. But he is the sort of signing which, if you get that over the line at around that £50-60 million mark, you do look like you can fight with the big dogs. Because you've lost a big player, and West Ham need to make a statement. Because by selling Declan Rice, they show that they're not a club in a position of power. But if you bring in Vlahovic, if you start bringing in players like him and Alvarez, then you look like a club in a position of power, because you're bringing in players that are targeted by other big clubs. Yeah, they're going West Ham. Yeah. So the sort of signs I've got to make. But yeah, do tell us whether you agree with our thoughts. Before we round off, prediction time. Where do you see West Ham being next season?
Mid-table.
So a move up, but not that.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get into Europe. I think it's too competitive. And so they'll be around that mid-table dogfight with likes of Tottenham and that.
I disagree with you.
Really?
With your statement they won't get into Europe. I think they're getting Champions League football. What? Do you want to know why? No. Because they're going to win the bloody Europa League. There we go. They're coming back for your revenge. They lost They lost the semi-final 2 years ago. They won the Conference League. Now they're going to win the Europa League.
Roma couldn't win back to back.
And then they're going to win the Champions League. No,
and then they're going to think that David Moyes is better than Jose Mourinho.
They might think that, in which case they would be delusional and wrong. But they might well. There's definitely not. There is literally no.
Better Man United.
Mourinho, he won the Europa League. Moyes did nothing.
Moyes was crap.
Anyway, that is everything for today. Moyes is not crap.
No, he's crap at United.
He was crap at United. Everyone's crap at United.
I think he's an exceptional manager.
I think he's very good.
He's definitely up there. He's one of the best Scottish managers of all time.
Yeah. He's someone that, I don't know, I always thought just, when you're young you just think, he's like a Sam Allardyce type, but actually he's a really, really interesting character.
He's
As we saw,
funny,
he did.
If it wasn't for Sir Alex Ferguson, he probably would be the best Scottish manager of all time. Not all time, sorry.
Whoa!
No,
I was about to kick off.
Not all time.
Yeah.
Not all time.
Anyway.
Like in the recent years.
Yeah, in the recent years, I think he just pips. Who else is Scottish? I was about to say Brendan Rodgers. He's not even Scottish, is he? He's Northern Irish, I think.
Yeah.
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 He's crap.
He is though.
Isn't it going back Celtic?
Yeah.
Anyway, we've took a weird. We might be going Saudi as well. That was also. I think he's going to go.
Let's not talk about Scotland.
Yeah, no more Scotland. Anyway, that is everything for today. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. It massively helps us out. We are pushing for 2,500 subscribers this year. We are currently on 1.56k. So if you could subscribe, that would be massively helpful. Might be a little higher than that by the time this goes out.
Get 1.57.
Fingers crossed. But that is everything for today. Please leave comments down below. We love hearing your feedback. You guys know a lot more about your club than we do. We are well aware of that. We will make mistakes, like when we go, this bloke really crap. He's only played 3 times, and it turns out he broke his cruciate ligament like 3 weeks into the season. We just forgot to mention that. But yeah, we do miss things when doing the research for this.
We try.
So yeah, apologies. We do try. Anyway, that is everything for today. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.